5:30, June 25th, in council chambers for our regular town council meeting. Can I get a roll call, please?
Umang. Chair Bracken.
Present.
Councilor Danforth. Here. Councilor Gould.
Here.
Councilor Wallen. Here. Councilor Pelletier.
Here.
Councilor Raymond.
Here.
And Councilor Runyon.
Excuse.
Thank you.
Can I have everyone stand and remove their caps for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Manager, is there any adjustments to the agenda last minute?
No, sir.
All right, I am seeking approval for the minutes for 4/16/2026 special meeting.
So moved. Second.
Motion made and seconded. Council discussion. Seeing none, down to public. Seeing none, all those in favor of the minutes for 4/16/26? It passes. Moving to our special presentations, we have the tabled resolve number 6, honoring Sunday for receiving the Town of Millinocket Scholarship. Councilor Wallen, can I have you read?
Certainly. Resolve number 6, 2026, a resolution honoring Sunday Voraraj for receiving the Town of Millinocket Scholarship. Whereas Sunday Voraraj has been selected as a recipient of the Town of Millinocket Scholarship in recognition of his exceptional dedication to community service and his meaningful contributions to the youth and residents of Millinocket. And whereas Sunday volunteered with the Baxter Youth Conservation Corps, dedicating many hours of work in a rugged environment to maintain and protect the lands that define this region. His work with the Baxter YCC shows a strong character of perseverance, adaptability, and collaboration. And whereas Sunday has shown exemplary leadership skills and was selected to participate in the National 4-Star Leadership Program, during this program he was challenged and encouraged to grow as a leader through the 4 key principles of character, common vision, communication, and caring. He brought those valuable lessons home to Millinocket and has served as president of the National Honor Society and Student Council and as captain of the varsity soccer and tennis teams. And whereas in addition to his volunteer service and leadership, Sunday has shown a commitment to rural health care through his participation in medical assisting training with Northern Penobscot Tech Region 3. His experience through this rigorous training program has inspired him to pursue a future in the medical field, working in rural communities like Millinocket. And whereas Sunday Voraraj has demonstrated unwavering dedication to the town of Millinocket and emerged as a positive role model and leader within the community, now therefore be it resolved that the Millinocket Town Council, in council assembled on June 25th, 2026, does hereby recognize, honor, and congratulate Sunday Voraraj for his outstanding service to the community and for being awarded the 2026 Town of Millinocket Scholarship in the amount of $1,000. Second.
Motion made and seconded. Council discussion. Congratulations.
Yes.
We didn't feel right last meeting not having you present with us, so we decided to table it so you could be here with us today. So I want to congratulate you for receiving the scholarship and for all of the outstanding things that you've done. Thank you so much. Any other counselors? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to congratulate Sunday as well. He hasn't been with us his whole educational career, but he moved here, was it sophomore year, and immediately fit in. I mean, the students love him, the staff loves him. He has become a part of so many different things going on at school, and it's just been a pleasure to know you. And I wish you well. He is attending UNE. He wants to be a dentist, so I wish you well, Sunday.
We need those. Yes. Any other counselors? Yes, Councilor.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate Sunday too. It's quite a list of accomplishments, and seeing you just graduated from high school, I can only imagine what you're going to do once you get out of school and start moving into the workforce. So congratulations, and hopefully this money helps you out.
Seeing none, I'll open it up to the public for comments. Seeing none, Sunday, do you have anything you'd like to say before we vote, or? Do you want to come up to the podium? Not scary, I promise.
Would say my name matters.
If you want.
Hello, my name is Sunday Moraj. What's my full address?
Yeah.
I live on 94 Lincoln Street. I just want to say thank you to everybody here. And just thank you to this community, really. Well, I moved from a big city, and ever since I've come here, I felt as like really a part of it, truly. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you.
Oh, they have to vote.
All those in favor of the resolve number 6? It passes. Councilor Long, would you like to present the award?
There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll have our roll.
It's a team effort. All right. One of those.
All right, moving on to special presentations, we have the library for their quarterly update. If you want to sit up here with us, and we have a mic for you.
Come on up. I got a good and quick joke. I got one. 2 drums and a cymbal fall off a cliff. Ow.
Don't laugh, I don't leave.
By the way, I need to see you first.
It's Friday.
Just about successfully navigated the technology here.
Oh, you're gonna turn your speakers off.
Oh, yep. Okay. Can folks see my slides okay? I'll put it in the slideshow so that they're bigger. That look all right to everybody?
That's
All right. Cool. Okay, well, I've got the quarterly presentation. I'm Anna Jensen, the library director, for folks who don't know me. I believe in your slide packet, I promised to give you statistics as well as updates and financial updates, but I've removed those in the interest of time. So I'll send statistics along in the next report. So what's new at the library? Summer hours were open late, 2 days a week from Memorial Day, started just after Memorial Day to Labor Day. So we're open till 6:30 on Tuesday and Wednesday. Oh, I'm sorry, all this is, okay. Better. Okay. We are open until 6:30 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And the rest of our hours remain the same. So 10 to 5 Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, and 10 to 1:30 on Saturdays. New programs. So we have got Mahjong. We've been having as a recurring program, but it's now in the evenings. And they invite new folks to join. So if you don't know how to play, they're happy to teach people. That's on Tuesday evenings from 3 to 7:30 now. We have a crochet group, which is same deal, newcomers and beginners to crochet. We have an instructor who's happy to help teach, or if you already crochet, people are coming and working on projects and just hanging out. Our summer reading kickoff is tomorrow afternoon. We will have Darling's ice cream truck, which I'm told is the main draw, besides the reading and the fun games and community parking tables. So that's tomorrow. We're gonna have chair yoga for seniors again this year, starting in July. So we have an instructor teaching that, a number of different sessions. This Saturday, I think this was also an error in your packets. It's June 27th, this Saturday, Historic Postcards of the Katahdin Region special program in partnership with the Millinocket Historical Society and the Medway Historical Society. That's Saturday afternoon. They're gonna have some, more than 100-year-old postcards and some historical artifacts, and it should be really interesting presentation and things to look through. And we have a couple of America 250 talks scheduled with, I believe, a high school teacher from Stearns and then a professor from UMO in July and August, talking about the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and some of the founding documents and what's still relevant today. Recurring programs, so we're still doing senior coffee chats. The next one's June 29th, first and third Mondays. Mahjong I mentioned. Once a month we have History Buff Roundtable. And then there's always the puzzle out in the library for folks to stop and work on. Recent special programs have included the Lake Stewards of Maine coming to give a training about lake monitoring, lake water quality monitoring. And we had local author Chris Davis reading from her book and giving a talk last week. And then youth programs. So recurring programs, things we're still doing throughout the summer: Pokemon Club, the teen craft afternoons on Tuesdays, story time on Wednesday mornings for the little kids, and then littles at the library playtime Mondays and Fridays. That's very casual. We're adding art afternoons on Thursdays, which is geared towards a slightly younger crowd than the teen crafts. So that'll be starting next Thursday and running through the summer. More for kids like 6 to 11, different crafts every week. And then special events, I mentioned the reading kickoff. There are a whole bunch of fun events planned for the summer for kids in conjunction with summer reading and just apart from that. So we have a bubble party in July, a slime lab. We've got 4-H programs coming in August, and then the end of summer celebration will be August 21st. And we're adding things to that all the time. I think not on here. We now have a dino fossil dig scheduled in July. So keep an eye on the calendar for fun events. Mentioned summer reading. Just want to emphasize tomorrow afternoon, free ice cream. We're also a summer meal site again this summer, so that started this week. I believe we gave out all our meals today for the first day this week. And that's Monday through Friday, so weekdays 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Anybody under 18 qualifies, and that will run through August 21st. And we are grateful for that partnership with Millinocket School Nutrition to be able to give out meals. Any questions on programs before I move on to facilities? Anything?
And I just have a quick question. How many meals are you able to give away? How many you've provided?
So we get 12 regularly, and if we run out and it's early enough in the day, we can call to have more. So today was the first day we gave out all 12, I think. But that sometimes increases throughout the summer as, people
That's
get.
for sure what it was last year, so that's the summer one. When that got,
Yeah.
they're better and better.
So we have a new fence up at the library. This is in progress, but it's finished now. It's around the heat pump and the silo, both for safety reasons and also that area looks a little bit nicer. And we've been spending some time and effort in the garden beds and in the outdoor patio area. So we're trying to spruce that up, plant some stuff. We have a couple of volunteers working on some of the flower beds too. So encourage folks to come check out the patio. So the fence is finished now, and it might be a thing that we can paint once the wood cures and make it look even cooler. You may also have noticed, I didn't put this in a slide, but if you've been to the library in the last month, we had our floors stripped and re-waxed for the first time since the renovation, so they were very shiny. Okay, any questions about facilities before we go to budget? Everybody's favorite. So this is our income actuals, budget versus actuals through April 30th. The couple of things to highlight, though I'm happy to answer questions about any of it. The temporarily restricted funds released. So that's funds that we have received but have designated for a specific purpose, and they get entered as income when we use them. So it is at zero, so it looks like we're not doing very well on that number, but those are funds that will be entered when they get used. So we have them, they're held for a specific purpose. When they get used for that purpose, they go into the budget. The town of Millinocket, I think I've talked about this before, one of our payments was received in 2025, so that number is gonna look low as the year goes on. It'll be more obvious in the second quarter, but it's not. We've already received 2 payments from the town in 2026 payments from the town. Are there any other questions about this part of the budget or income so
Any
far?
questions? Seeing none.
Okay, expenses. So this is facilities and equipment. The big standout from this, so as you look at these numbers, we're a third of the way through the year. April 2026 is when these numbers are from. So if we're at about a third of our budget, we're sort of on track. Though there are, of course, things that are just paid once a year or aren't spread out evenly across the year, as I'm sure you all also have for the town. The big one here is that our electricity budget, you'll see we've spent about 80% of it. Our electricity usage went over a threshold set by Versant a couple of times, and they bumped us into a new billing tier, which is not something that we expected. The first time it happened was the day of the marathon, so I think we thought that was due to the marathon, to us being a command center and there being a lot of activity there, but then it happened again in March on like a Tuesday afternoon. So we have no idea what's causing that, and we're investigating whether this is like, there is something crazy going on at the library that's using a lot of electricity, whether like Versant's meter is wrong, or whether there's like anything we can do about it, or it's just sort of like, well, we suspected the new elevator might have been drawing a lot, but it should be more consistent if that's the case. So anyway, we're trying to track our electricity usage and see if there's any hope of getting bumped back down, but that's where we're at right now.
It's a funny story. Before we started the council meeting, we were talking about Nexamp and some of these community solar groups that are in town. Is the library set up through the, Nexamp is the one that the town set up
I
through?
think Ambien is we're set up with. I don't know if that's the same thing, but I think we are set up with a like energy share.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to look.
Is that saving any bit on that bill, or?
I
used to have it in the house.
Okay, yeah, that may be something
Just food for
to
thought.
mention to our board. Yeah, that might be something to look into in
We're saving
the future.
quite a substantial amount of money.
Yeah, I think that the numbers I've seen haven't been a ton from what we currently are doing. Yeah.
James Company.
Yeah, that Peter was saying, the board should look into that. Thanks. Anything else on this slide?
Seeing that?
And then payroll expenses, nothing wild has happened. The payroll taxes look weird, but that's due to the way that we're entering things in QuickBooks. I think we have to clean up some stuff in our accounts. We're not actually spending way more taxes than we thought we would. So payroll expenses are not unexpected. Collections on track. I don't think there's anything crazy in this slide, but are there any questions on any of the collections or payroll?
Seeing none?
Library administration, so a couple of things on here that I didn't signal this with an arrow, but the asset management fees rent, that's something we pay once a year. It's part of our new market tax credit agreement, and we paid that in May this year, so it'll show up paid all at once in May, the $32,000 for rent. And that's something that will change after the new market tax credit unwind in August, so it'll be different in future years, whatever that looks like. The financial review and filings, that's our 990s and our financial compilation. We're a little bit behind on that. They're being prepared, so that's what we pay for our 990s to be prepared. We have an accounting firm working on those. They're a little behind. They should be finished by July, and we'll share those for 2025 with the town and put them on our website when they're done. Are there any other questions or any questions about any of these numbers? And so then our total expenditures are $118,549.27 for the year. Again, it's about a third of our budget. We're sort of overall on track. We currently have a net operating revenue, but we we budgeted to break even, so we don't expect that to hold.
Any questions on the final story? Seeing none.
Any other questions, anything you all would like to know?
Mr. Manager, correct me if I'm wrong, but this year we need to start negotiation talks for the contract for the library.
That's correct.
Okay, that's another thing to keep in mind, as we move further into the year, that's something we should definitely start doing, sooner rather than later. I'm sure your board is well on top of that, but figured I'd mention it. I'll open it up to the council first, then I'll give it to the public if they have any comments or questions. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Anna, for the presentation. You have an incredible slate of offerings, menu, things for our community members, and it's just awesome. And I know you don't have on here, but your meeting space, I know your meeting space gets used up all the time, you know, and it's certainly advantageous to our community members and people that need a place to meet. So overall, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, and a lot of these programs are offered also with the help of community organizations and partners, so it's not something we do alone.
Any other councilors? I'll open it up to the public. Does the public have any questions or comments? Yes. When you come out, you turn that mic off when he's up there, you'll just press the button.
Oh, let's turn it all the way off. There we go.
We need it for the people on Zoom.
Scott Bouchard, Tucker Pond Road, here in town. So, just made me think of this when I was reading this earlier. The solar field at the old power, the old build site is not, no one has a net metering agreement. If you were able to get a net metering agreement for that solar field, it might help on your power bill. I don't know, it is a little bit to it, but it'd be something for your budget, but it's open to anyone that would get a net metering agreement for it. So if you were to look at, and then the only other one I had was, if your operating revenue is under 200K, you might be able to do a 990 EZ. And the 990 EZ might be able to save you a little money on your financials. They were just tidbits for you to take on. That's all. And great presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think our operating revenue for last year was about the same as the 400 and something. I have to look, so a little bit over last year. But I will definitely jot down the solar field to look into.
Anyone else from the public? Anyone on Zoom, Mr. Manager?
No.
Thank you so much for your presentation. We really appreciate it. I look forward to hearing these and seeing the big changes. I do like the stats, so I'm excited to see that next time and see the changes and the variables from year after year. So thank you.
Totally. I will definitely put that together for the next one.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
All right, moving on. We have no unfinished business. We'll go right into the town manager's report.
All right. So it's been a while since our monthly manager's reports. So I'll dive right in. So we received an update just recently regarding our pending increase on hydrant rentals. The main water company had dug into that quite a bit, and with the feedback that was received, and they were actually able to drop it pretty substantially. Not, it's still an increase, but from the originally anticipated new rate of $74,114 a month, they are going to drop that to $52,666 a month. Same effective date, April 1, 2027. It does still increase, still include the 3% surcharge. However, that drop alone allows us to decrease our FY27 budget by about $65,000. And looking into the full year of FY28, it brings us down closer to $630,000 rather than the $900,000 that was expected. It's not great, but it is more palatable. so currently our cost is $525,000 a year. So it's still a substantial increase, but it's not 400,000, and that's better news than it was. That also allows us to include that in some budget adoption order amendments that we would plan to bring in the next couple of months. We would suggest that the council amend some of the adoption orders for the budget so we can lower the tax raise ask before we do our commitment in August, early September. So we'll keep an eye on that, but it's likely towards the end of June we'll look at bringing those forward so we can try to drop the tax raise a bit. The bid opening for the Bate Street reconstruction project is scheduled for July 1st. And we remain hopeful that we'll have qualified bidder who's able to complete the work quickly enough and within budget so that we maintain access to the DOT funding that is helping to offset the cost of that project. I spoke with the engineers last week, and they were quite excited about the attention that they've got from this bid package. They've had, I think they said 3 or 4 already that had submitted that were strong companies. So we're looking forward to seeing what the bid opening brings. They've been the engineering firm, Oliver Associates, has been making pretty good progress acquiring the easements from property owners along that section of Bate Street. There's several more floating out there. One of those residents came and spoke with me today to get some more information on it. What that entails is an easement so that the project can include enough paving into their driveways so that they can produce an adequate taper and seam, given the condition of the road and most of the driveways in their current state. That takes a lot more work than it normally would if it was in better condition. So that is going well. Hopefully we'll get the rest of those in before the start date. So Chair Bragdon had requested more information about security cameras at the cemetery. So our short-term approach is to repurpose a couple of our solar-powered game cameras from another department while we continue discussion with Steve Gardner, who has done most of our other security camera work. He has a method that he uses in remote areas that includes a battery pack and a solar panel and some radio type transmitters that send signal across and will work into our system that shows here at the town office, the park down the end of the street, and the rest of the rec complex. So once we can, he's a very busy man with his day job, and this is a side gig, so we'll continue to communicate with him and put that system together as time goes by. We will have a solution up there very soon. So the fire chief position is posted. We've had pretty impressive interest already in that position. At the same time, we've also been discussing the opportunity of sharing an administrative chief with the town of East Millinocket to, through a contract agreement, to oversee the administrative portions of the department, and then we would, if that's the road we would take, it would reintroduce the deputy chief position in the union contract that hasn't been used for quite a while. In fact, Tom Malcolm was the last deputy chief, I believe. Yeah. before he became chief. So we're, that's an idea that we've been toying with. Many of you have been involved along the way, and we fully intend to continue the interview process along the way and make sure we're proposing the right decision. But more to come on that. So far, though, in the meantime, Second Assistant Chief Matt Farrington, myself, the rest of the crew have been really stepping up in big ways, holding down the fort. The morale in the department is higher than I've seen it in a very long time, and really the whole team over there has been awesome and leading in to help however they can. So that's been it's been a real blessing. It's been smoother than I would have anticipated it to be. Council laptops will be here July 1st, and we will start using them very shortly after. Very much looking forward to printing as much. And as usual, this includes a ton of really good information from each of the departments. Right, if you'd like me to expand on any of it, I'm happy to. I'll take any questions you may have. And before I hand it back over to the council, Councilor Mullen, yes, I forgot once again to change the year-to-date and the code enforcement permit summary to remove calendar. It is fiscal year, but as you can see, the code office is doing really well with permitting and documentation. The revenues have far exceeded what we expected it to, and into the month of June, we're looking at a total of 305 permits, which really make a huge amount of progress towards keeping records and property information current, so that we don't end up in the mess that we found ourselves in with 30 years of non-existent code enforcement. So, and how that relates to revaluation and tax bills and that whole thing. So this is really good work towards a nice clean process moving forward. But I will make another note to delete the parenthetically referred to word calendar from that report.
All done, Mr. Manager.
But,
All done.
oh, yeah.
Just a call out, I'm super excited about Main Street. I was talking to the manager about it, and one thing I'm not impressed with is the communication from the water company. Peter has been actively trying to get them to do their portion of their project at the same time as us for the road, and we're not getting any response back from them. So it kind of sucks that we're gonna go this road, I'm doing all this work, for them to come back at a later date and do their work.
Well, they did respond, along the way. They've chosen not to participate in this round. It would be cleaner if it was dug up at the same time, but it is likely that they will have to repair some of those pipes, which lay along our wastewater pipes being replaced at a later date.
Point still stands.
Oh, yeah, it still stands.
It's very aggravating.
I had too much Celsius.
You're good. It's aggravating, to put in all that time and work, and having to go back and basically do it a second time. So hopefully they change their mind before everything's said and done, but that seems unlikely. I'm happy to hear about the cemetery cameras. There's a lot more people here than usual, but the reason for the request is the amount of vandalism over the years has kind of increased, especially in certain areas in Millinocket. The cemetery was one of the areas that was missed during the last round, and subsequently this spring, somebody took it upon themselves to go into the cemetery before the road set, and did a major amount of damage to the road that cost us quite a bit of money to repair. And we did not have cameras up there at that point in time, so we were unable to really solidify who So I'm happy to see that this is taking place now, so we can hold people accountable that do go into the cemetery and vandalize it. Because tar costs a ton of money. It was upwards of $15,000, if I'm correct, to grab that, am I right, Brian? Or how much was it?
I mean, there's the spot repair now, we go 1,500.
1,500. Okay, I thought there was multiple areas, but thank you. Still money that, comes out of the budget that we shouldn't have to do. The only other question that I have, Mr. Manager, before I open it up to the rest of the council, is we've talked multiple times about the transfer station and making major changes up there. It's been an ask of the council since November. Do we have an ETA on when you're going to start initiating those changes?
We do not.
Okay.
We will hopefully start pretty soon. We'll talk more with Brian about it and see what we can get moving on sooner than later. It admittedly has taken a backseat to many things that pop up that need attention and are time consuming. So, yes, I hear that loud and clear, and we will do our best.
Perfect, thank you. Anyone else from the council? Yes, go ahead, Councilor.
On the hydrants, all good news, $257,000 change, and it is a good change. Fire chief position, as we kind of talked on email and stuff, I'm glad to see there's a lot of applicants. I prefer to have our own fire chief, but if we gotta do a shared one, then we'll have to think about that. That's something that Peter will be dealing with. But it's nice to see the applicants coming in on that. Public Works crew, I just look at it, they're doing great work. And I don't think they get enough credit, because every time I see them, they've got something going on up in Highland Avenue. They've been getting that all fixed up since they tied. They're fixing the tree belts up there, which I'd like to see them change the name of that tree belt to get the tree off in it, because that was doing a lot of damage to our sidewalks. But, just all good work. I can't commend them enough on that. The cemetery, looking good. I mean, considering what we're going through and with the grubs and everything, and then you get into a summer like this, where you're trying to mow, and then you get all this rain, and then everything's growing, and, it's difficult, so hope people understand that part of it. As for the airport, a lot of nice work going on up there. It's gonna be a class act when they get it done. Thanks go up to Jeff Cantor for the time he puts into that place, and I wanna thank the past and the present council for investing in this, because I think it's gonna be a crown jewel at some point in time here. Town clerks, collector's office, I hear a lot of good comments about it from the front office. They're all doing well down there, so I don't think a lot of people hear that enough. And same way on the elections department, they run a nice elections, and they do a good job of that. And I believe that's it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, go ahead.
I just have a quick question. What is the anticipated start date for the Main Street project?
We won't know until after the bid opening.
Okay.
Part of the bid award will likely be their availability to start, adverse to what is always the notice. We're on a time crunch for spending that DOT money before it goes away. So, yeah, I'll know more after the
After
first.
the bid opening, okay.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to make a couple mentions, and under the, Tom's report for code enforcement, he has conducted the certificate of occupancy for the MRH new renovations and passed inspection. And I just want to tell you that today was the first day that the new emergency department was open. So people use Poplar Street entrance now instead of going around the reroute. So today, I hadn't been over there to see how it all rolled out, but through email, there was a lot of logistics around that. Today was the first day that was to be open, so that's good news. And then just another feel-good thank you to Public Works, where you have really finished and
another shout out to Public Works. Thank you for fixing the Parkville Street tracks again. Because the tar had all broken away over the winter and it was pretty rough, and I was so happy the other day when I went by, I was like, tar. So thank you.
I do have a follow-up question, Mr. Manager. Are we still planning on doing intervenor status for the hydrant rentals? I know it's a palatable drop, but I'm still not, me personally, I'm not in favor of what they're proposing, and I would prefer to do intervenor status.
Yes, yeah, I've been back and forth with the Office of the Public Advocate about that, in recent weeks, so, that form has been started, not submitted quite yet, but, they are helping me through that.
Awesome, thank you. Any other councilors? We are gonna talk further about the cemetery on the order that I have asked to be brought up, so I won't dive too deep into that one until we get to that order. Anyone from the public have anything on the manager's report? Yes, Jeff.
Jeff Campbell, Airport Manager. I'm going to give you a little update on the taxiway extension project and everything that's going on out there. There's been a stop put on the project because of paving. It was supposed to be paved this week. It was in the manager's report that we were going to have paving done this week. It was supposed to be done Monday, but the certification didn't come back in time for the special mix that has to go on airports. So everything else is done except for paving and the final sides, the groundwork on the sides of the taxiway. But everything else is done. The end drain's done, the landscaping's done, the hydro seeding is done, all of that's done. So we're just waiting for that last piece of certification to get the pavement put in place. So it looks really good. It really changed the landscape down near the hangars. Things are coming along really well. So, and we're also vigorously working on the next part of the project, which will be the runway reconstruction and extension. So, thank you.
We also have a new land lease in progress to bring forward to council in the near future.
That makes me ecstatic.
Yeah, one of the undeveloped parcels that faces Medway Road on airport land, so there's a local business that is interested in leasing that from us, so we're working on some lease terminology where the others are for hangars, and this one is just for land but has other requirements, so that should hopefully be done here pretty soon. We'll bring it forward to you guys.
And as a follow-on to that, we can start with the hangar leases as well, because I've got people already asking, knocking on the door, want to start building hangars.
Very good. Yes, go ahead.
Can I just ask a question? How long is pavement going to be put off? You said it's put on hold. Do you have any kind of sense of the timeline for that?
Gotta get your steps in today, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't have a timeline yet. It shouldn't be very long. I'm expecting within 2 weeks. So we'll get it done. It'll be close to when we hope to be done. We hope to be done by July 1st, but it may be middle of July, and we'll be done. And they're going over there twice a day right now, watering the grass and everything, so it's really been full service. Sergeant has been unbelievable to work with. They're exceptional, and they are the ones that won the bid for the runway. So I look forward to that.
So can I just follow up? Does it put any of your other operations on hold?
It does not. Everything's fine. No, this is an extension, and it's off the operating area that's currently in use. So it does not affect airport operations at this point. Next year is going to be a different story.
Before Jeff runs away, does anyone else have any questions for Jeff? No? Okay.
We're talking runway. You can work the runway.
Thanks, Jeff. Just to point
Hey,
out.
Jeff, come back.
Yeah.
Just to point out, the comment was made about how it's potentially going to be the crown jewel of Millinocket. I want to say that it already is. We do so much at the airport as it is already. Millinocket likes to do their celebration for their employees up there. We have the fly and cruise in, which is getting more popular as the years go on. But I see people out there all the time just stopped on the side of the road, watching airplanes come in. And of course, if anyone's interested, Jack posts those photos online, and some of them are wicked cool to look at. So I highly recommend that if you have not gone up there. Jeff has been more than vocal, he's coming back up. He's been more than vocal about how much he loves the airport and all the stuff that takes place up there. He'd be happy to show you stuff if you
So for the other folks that are not usually at the meetings, we have gained 12 airplanes over there, 12 full-time residents over there in the last year and a half. We've got 8 people that want to build hangars. We've got 4 primary flight students going on right now, and we have 3 people beyond that that are ready for their check rides for private pilot's licenses and seaplane ratings. So things are really working well over there.
Awesome. All right, anyone else from the public have any questions or comments? Seeing none, no one's there. Thank you, Mr. Manager, for your report. I do highly recommend if anyone has not read this, there's a lot of useful information there. All right, Councilor Bull, can I have you read order number 155, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Order number 155-2026, providing for execution of the town warrant for June 25th, 2026. It is ordered that the town warrant for June 25th, 2026 in the amount of $193,721.74 is hereby approved.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Council discussion? Seeing none, out of the public? Seeing none, all those in favor of order number 155? Oh, sorry. Heavy hitters? Yes.
Skip them. Just that, yeah. Heavy hitter, Allegiance Trucks, a diagnostic leak on the pump panel for $5,334.56. Terrace Computer Systems, $25,331.62. Hoyle Tanner and Associates, $15,242.57 for a crown jewel. iWork Systems, $6,000. Maine Municipal Association Workman's Comp for $19,626.11. Municipal Waste Solutions, tipping fee for $5,266.92. RHR Smith and Company, $25,717.50. Auditing. Twin Pines Snowmobile Club, $55,300. Verson Power, $14,237.16.
Any other council comments? Yes.
Just a note on the Twin Pines snowmobile cost of $55,300. That was passed through. That was no town money there. It comes from the state and the snowmobile division and goes to the club.
Thank you. All right, back to the public one more time. Seeing none, all those in favor this time of order 155-2026. Motion passes. Councilor Gould, can I have you read order number 156?
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. Order number 156-2026, providing for execution of wastewater warrant for June 25th, 2026. It is ordered that the wastewater warrant for June 25th, 2026 in the amount of $27,282.16 is hereby approved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded.
Heavy hitter, Town of Millinocket for $5,967.56, and RHR Smith and Company for $5,595, and of course, Verson Power for $7,859.80.
Any other councilors? Seeing none, down the public. Seeing none, all those in favor of order 156? Motion passes. Councilor Raymond, can I have you read order number 157, please?
Yes, order number 157-2026, providing for approval for an application for a victualer's license for Maniac Snack Shack mobile food trailer. It is ordered that the attached application for a victualer's license is hereby approved for Holly Allen, 12 Oak Ridge Drive, Herman, Maine, doing business as Maniac Snack Shack mobile food trailer, business address, Veterans Memorial Park, Millinocket events.
Motion made and seconded by Councilor Danforth. Council discussion? Seeing none, down to the public. Seeing none, all those in favor of order 157? Motion passes. Councilor Pelletier, can I have you read order number 158?
Order 158-2026, providing for approval of an application for appointment to the planning board, David Levesque. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council approves the appointment of David Levesque to the planning board for the remaining term of the vacancy for expire December 2029. No vacancy with accepted resignation from John Cody. If approved, David will vacate his alternate seat currently held on the planning board. The alternate seat will to expire December 27 will be available, and the only seat to be filled for the board is
Second.
Motion made and seconded, council discussion. Seeing none, down the public. Seeing none, all those in favor of order number 158? Motion passes. I'm going to read the next two orders. Order number 159, providing for award of bid for sale of 143 Medway Road, whereas the bid opening for this property sale was held on June 17th, during which 3 sealed bids were opened and reviewed. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council awards the bid to blank for the amount of blank. It is further ordered that the town manager is authorized to execute this transaction in accordance with the advertised bid packages, to sign and submit any necessary documents related to the sale of this property. Bids received: Stephen Jones for $14,200, Jeanette Seroy's for $8,000, and Lisa Willett for $8,000. Additional information provided by bidders it says attached, but it was separate for further consideration.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Council discussion. I would like to make a motion to accept Stephen Jones' bid for $14,200. Seeking a second.
That was the second, but I was just saying, I believe we should take the highest bid on this one. He's got a good plan.
Motion made by myself, seconded by Councilor Raymond. Council discussion on the amendment. Seeing none, down to the public. Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment? Perfect. Any council discussion on the order as amended? Yes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm just, because other people in the public didn't get this, we did, his intended use is where the property would be built, a house, a garage for storage of boats, jet skis, et cetera. So my wife and I think that all season recreation in the Millinocket area.
Thank you. Anyone else in the council? Seeing none, down to the public. Seeing none, all those in favor of order number 159 as amended? Motion passes. All right, order number 160, providing for additional funding for cemetery maintenance. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council authorizes that blank be transferred from the unassigned fund balance by the treasurer to the appropriate budget lines within the cemetery expense budget for additional equipment and payroll-related expenses. No current unaudited unassigned fund balance total is $3,017,902.16.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. I'm going to talk about this order because I asked for it to be brought for council discussion. Continuing to hear reports on the cemetery, I am happy with the way it's going, don't get me wrong. I think the Public Works is doing a great job, but I decided to take it upon myself based off public comment to meet with Mr. Manager and the Public Works Department Director to find out what else can be done. And it came down to 5 issues that hopefully we can solve within the next 2 years. My thought process is if we put money into 3 of those issues this year, it will help alleviate the problems that we have with Memorial Day for next year, as well as potentially alleviate some pressure next summer. So those issues are, the mower is at the end of its life. It has 3,000 hours on it, a little over, and the life expectancy on those machines is 8 to 10 years. It's 7 years old, so it's already having problems. So realistically, we're going to need to replace that within the next year or 2. The buggy up there that we talked about during the budget season that carries all of the equipment wasn't stressed at how bad of a condition this machine is in, but it's in really rough shape. It's been jerry-rigged basically since 1998 to work, and it's well past its life expectancy, and they do use that for hauling around the equipment across the cemetery. But the other big issue is, anybody who's driven past the cemetery or around it, it's built on a sand hill. And part of that issue, it creates a massive nesting ground for grubs and insects, which is obviously attacking the cemetery, and it's 30 acres, right? It's not like our neighbors that have 9 acres or 4 acres. We have 30 acres of cemetery that we have to maintain. And you can't manage all that in one day, let alone a week. It's it's already hard enough. So we sat and came up with some creative ideas. We bounced a couple of ideas back and forth when it comes to mowing and how to improve lawn care. We did come to the conclusion, based off suggestions that the public works director gave me, is the grass needs to grow a little bit longer in order to bring back the health, to prevent burning, as well as, create stronger roots, which is why the grass up there has been a little bit longer than it has in years prior. There was some major misses a few years ago with treatment, and grub treatment and regular treatment, which caused some issues for the years after that we're still kind of recovering from. So the recommendation to solve that problem was to do a second run of fertilizer this year that will help strengthen the grass potentially for next Memorial Day. It really does need it. There are some patchy areas up there. I took a ride by last night. I don't think it's in as bad a shape as it's being made out to be, but it does need some care. So I think an extra round of fertilizer will help strengthen the grass. As it comes to mowing and the repeated issues that we hear up there, there's two issues with this. One is if you mow it too fast, you burn the grass, and then it looks absolutely terrible. And we have people going up there with their own mowers and mowing after we're trying to grow the grass a little bit longer to fix it, and people are going up there with their own mowers and attacking the areas that their loved ones are at, and they're contradicting everything that we're working on. To solve the issues from Memorial Day, 4th of July, and other areas of concern that we have lots of people in the cemetery, we looked at 3 potential options. One was hiring an outside company to mow 15 acres, which was pretty expensive. We looked at hiring additional staff, which after payroll, benefits, and everything included, it didn't make sense, and it was also extremely expensive. So the other option was to provide overtime, which the manager and the public works director are looking into for the remainder of this year and for next year to see if that will help alleviate. And it's a major cost savings versus going out and hiring another company or even hiring additional staff. That being said, my recommendation for this budget is to put $32,000 from the unassigned fund balance into the cemetery maintenance line. I'm not making a motion just yet because I wanted to hear other councilors' opinions and thoughts. But that is the thought process behind it. I'm happy to break it down if you guys want where that number came from. I'm hearing yes. Okay, so approximately $13,000 is for the fertilizer, $18,000 for a new buggy, and then for a diesel mower, we feel like we can get by with the one we have now until next year. God forbid anything happened, but if we do get a new mower next year, that will give us a little bit of play. So the buggy definitely needs to be repaired, and that was approximately $18,000, and then the fertilizer treatment is approximately $13,000, which is about $32,000. Yes.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question. So do we already have in the budget the overtime that was going to be needed available for staff?
I do not believe so.
Yes, so it's not within the cemetery budget. However, the overtime would be offered for the public works crew members. We continually have to budget for overtime use during the winter season, for snowstorms and that sort of thing. We have seen less of that used in recent years, significantly. So our thought was, at the time and a half rate, it is more cost effective to offer the overtime to the public works crew members to help with the initial couple of passes through the cemetery than it is to hire additional people. So it's within the overall budget, but in a different department.
Just as a follow-up question, do you have confidence that your staff will want to work and pick up the time?
We
As
have,
opposed to having to hire?
we have hope.
Yeah, hope.
Thanks, Wendy. That is not confirmed yet. So it is a conversation we will be having, and depending on how that goes, we may have to adjust accordingly.
Just to add, that The overtime portion does not reflect the number that I'm presenting tonight.
I can
That's
see that.
just an additional piece I wanted to bring up, that we're looking at another solution
Yes.
to solve the mowing issue that people brought up, but the two pieces that I'm particularly asking for is enough money to replace that buggy, and the second fertilizer treatment from Green Thumb. Any other councilors? Councilor Pelletier?
Yeah, I'm just curious about, the amount of work that you're looking at, given, couldn't you hire, part-time employees where there's no benefits or, you know?
Well, that would be the case, but at the rate of pay that the cemetery crew is paid, it is larger than the time and a half rate for works employees. You know, and then, you know, with the added expenses of payroll tax and main PERS and social security that goes on top of the regular payroll, it would be.
They wouldn't be eligible for main PERS,
Yes, they would.
part-time employees?
That's correct.
Huh. I guess we're part-time employees too.
We get paid first.
Yeah, for $1,000 a year, you give the main first contribution, yes.
I get a statement every 3 months.
But, yeah, it does, you know, the increase of the time and a half rate is less than, you know, hiring new employees. And it allows the public, it would allow the public works crew to obtain some of that overtime that they are getting less of in the winters. So we would, we haven't had that conversation yet that I know of, but it is something we hope to address here pretty soon. And if it is not acceptable, then we will reconvene.
Councilor Raymond, you were next.
Yes, I'd like to commend you on taking this on, and Brian and Pete, because, you know, we all know what was going on before Memorial Day, and, you know, people are trying as hard, you know, do the best up there, and giving a lot of bad, social media posts and stuff. It doesn't do anybody good, and, you know, and I know from, you know, work I do, very similar work, and you can mow something one day, and the next day there's dandelions there, you know, stuff like that, so it's not always at the right timing and everything, so, I'm in favor for this.
Did you have anything?
I was just gonna second that as well, of being in favor of this, but I wanted to point out too, I spent about 2 hours today at Jerry Pond and watching maintenance down there, taking care of that, and lackadaisical was not a word. The attention to detail was just, I had to applaud it, so I know that it hasn't been negligence at the cemetery, so.
Yes.
Yeah, I have another question or comment as well. I'm noticing the unassigned fund balance is 3 million, is 17,000. So we do have a policy around using our unassigned fund balance if it goes beyond 3 million. So if we went ahead and took 32,000 from that, we would be low the 3 million threshold that we try to keep. So what do you say about that?
It's not necessarily 3 million, it's 3 tiered goals through the policy that is related to operating costs for the town and the school. And so this, operating costs at 30, 60, and 90 days, so we have to have that much cash on hand to cover those expenses. And I don't remember off the top of my head what those goals are for FY '26. However, I believe it was north of 2.8 for the goal in that. And this total does include the deduction for the use of unassigned funds in the FY '27 budget. So this has already been reduced by the $575,000. So, you know, I don't have a major concern about this amount and how it would affect, but I wouldn't be able to do that, that finalize the budget adjustments, and we have to identify those three tiers by the time, when we commit taxes in September. But I think this would be safe, but I don't think it would allow for a whole lot of safe use of those funds throughout the year, depending on where those goals fall.
I'm glad you actually brought that up, I missed that piece.
Yeah.
One of the things that was mentioned on social media from a prior counselor, prior town manager, is that there's plenty of money in this unassigned fund balance. And apparently the thought process is we can just use that 3 million willy-nilly. When in reality, this is an emergency fund that's meant for the town to operate on in case of emergencies. There was a one time that we basically had none, and that was well before my time on council, that it took forever to build that back up. And by no means do I mean to diminish that. I think it's very important to have it, but I also think it's important to listen to our constituents and the people who voted for us when it comes to areas such as this one, which is where this came from. So I'm going to make a motion that, I'm actually going to open it up to the public first before I put in a number.
It's on, Sam.
No, it's
Okay, we're good.
You have shot on Sandy, you're all good to talk.
Sandra Sullivan, 104 Sunset Drive, and I disagree with all of you. I have one lawnmower at my house, which is a postage stamp size lot. They have one lawnmower to do that entire cemetery. That's unreasonable. I was hoping to hear you were going to get at least 2. I started complaining to Brian, I complained to you, and I complained to you. I went up there and the grass was this tall. Now, that's not allowing the grass to grow a little longer, because Green Thumb suggested that was a way to make room. That is because the grass was never mown. People are up there with their own lawnmowers because the cemetery looked horrible. There's no other way to put it. And so we have money to buy a street sweeper that's been by my house 400 times.
Lucky you.
It has. You could eat off my street. And so why can't we have enough equipment and enough personnel to keep it looking decent?
To respond, I did bring up your concerns during that meeting that we had with the Public Works Director, and the response I got was another mower was not needed based off the rotation that they have. However, my suggestion was if we buy a new mower next year and we can make use of that mower and the one we're about to replace, we would have that option before the end of its life. There was a comment made from the Public Works Director, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they do have a backup mower that's used for other areas of the town that they do use for emergencies out there. But again, my recommendation was that when we do buy a new mower, we'll have 3. One that is close to the end of its life, but we'll still be able to use it. So I did bring a concern up, and there were comments made, and we did come up with a suggestion for it.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Any other public comment? Yes.
I did look up the information I had sent you back in April, as we were getting closer to the end of the budget process. So at the levels that our budget and the school's budget were passed, we know that hours will decrease a little bit, which would increase these target goals. But the 60-day target goal would remain at 2.95 for the unassigned fund balance. So yeah, we are getting pretty close. That will change slightly, but Jane's onto something. However, this wouldn't be
none, I make a motion that we change the blank line to $32,000 from the UFB. Motion made and seconded, council discussion on the amendment. Seeing none, down to the floor. Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment? Motion passes. Any council comments on order number 160 as amended? Seeing none, down to the public. Seeing none, all those in favor of order number 160 as amended? Motion passes. Councilor Danforth, can I have you read order number 161, please?
I don't have to read the whole thing.
I promise you will not read that.
Order number 161-2026, providing for approval of $656,595 in general obligation bonds to finance indoor air quality improvements at Main Street Elementary School. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council and council assembled on June 25th, 2026, does hereby approve $656,595 in general obligation bonds to finance indoor air quality improvements at Granite Street Elementary School as follows.
A motion to move the reading. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor of moving the reading? Passes. Council discussion on order number 161.
I think, I'm just asking Councilor McLaughlin to explain a little bit about it. You know most about this, as our email response.
Yeah, I mean, I could just say what I said in the email, was that the school received a grant. They had applied for a grant for this work, and they received, correct me if I'm wrong, Dawn, I say something wrong, and they, it was all forgiven except for this $656,000. That's the only part that they have to borrow in order to get that grant. They did come, Mr. Federico did come and do a presentation to us. I can't remember when it was, April or May. We gave the go-ahead for that. And so I know some people have brought up the question of, you know, why are we putting this money into the building? And what if the school closes, or, I mean, nobody knows the future, but whether this school stays open for years or it closes, it's still an asset of the town. And that this work has to be done to maintain and operate that boiler. That, it's 50 years old, so it's gotta be done one way or the other, and do it now while you're getting most of it for free.
It was approximately 2.1 million, correct?
Yep.
Was the portion we received?
Was it 2.1? 2.7?
So if I can speak to this for just a moment, she's
Yeah.
really close.
2 point something.
So
More meant way. I would like to personally see the Granite Street kids go over to Stearns. I've been speaking, publicly about that for almost 2 years now. And that may be something they are discussing as a plan B or C. But from my understanding right now, the plan right now is to still go to the community, get their input, keep working on these reports, and then find out what the public's input is on consolidation of the 3 towns. That still has not been established, so it's still a what if, right? And I don't want to put the cart before the horse. We still need to invest in this property and maintain it as if it's still going to maintain our kids. And then once we hear from the committees and the people that are working on the consolidation efforts, or whatever they're calling it now, then we can decide what we're going to do. But we're still going to need the improvements that we're having done to Granite Street, in my opinion. Any other councilors? Seeing none, I will go to the vote. All those in favor of order number 161? All those against? Were you in favor or against, Councilor?
I'll be in favor.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. With that, we move on to reports and communications. Warrant Committee for July 9th, 2026 will be Councilor Pelletier, Councilor Raymond, and Councilor Mullen will be absent during her vacation, so have a wonderful time.
Thank you.
I believe Councilor Runyon will also be away, but I have to follow up with her and find out if she will return by then. Chair Committee reports, do you have anything else to add?
I don't have a report other than our next age-friendly Millinocket meeting is July 14th, and I'll work on getting an agenda.
Very good. I did have scheduled tonight the quarterly update for the support groups that I had established, the task plan groups. Councilor Runyon is not here to give her portion of it, but are you guys all set with the school consolidation portion, or would you like another month?
We're not ready to give a report today.
Yes. We'll do it,
Thank you.
we'll do it the second meeting in July, and then we'll do another one 2 months later instead. That actually works out great, because Councilor Gould and I have only met once to discuss the code book. We are working on 2 ordinances. One is the junkyard ordinance with the manager and Mr. Malcolm, the code enforcement officer, and we are looking into an e-bike ordinance, an e-scooter ordinance based on the amount of traffic and increase that we're seeing, the amount of accidents that we've almost seen in the last coming months. We're basing what we've seen on Bangors, so there's more to come with that one. I'll be happy to give an update, hopefully, very soon on those 2 ordinances.
So Bangors is referencing the state laws, so, I mean, the laws exist, they just need to be enforced, so, that's a conversation that we should definitely, continue and organize our thoughts and messaging about that, but we will need to discuss and encourage enforcement of that with our lease contract.
That is correct. And like I said, it's still in early phases, but we are working on those 2 ordinances as well as going through the code book. With that, I am going to open up to the 2-minute public comment. This is the time you can address the council, ask questions, concerns, comments. If there is a question and we do not have an answer for you, I will do my best to get you an answer by the next council meeting. I'll open it up to the public.
My name is Wendy Serio. My address is, I'm not loud enough without it.
You gotta have it
It
for
was
people
just
on
over
Zoom.
your head, that's all.
Address is 1 Grand Avenue, and I'm here to present the Citizens Initiative letter opposing the Acadian Timber Housing Project, which hopefully you all got email copies of. But for the rest of you in the world, I will read. To the Town Council, Planning Board, and relevant local officials. We, the undersigned residents and concerned community members, respectfully oppose the proposed Acadian Timber Housing Project planned for the area behind our homes and businesses in and around Jerry Pond. The proposed development would place a substantial project directly behind established homes, businesses, and recreational trails, fundamentally changing the character of the neighborhood without adequate regard for the people most affected. Building so close to existing properties would reduce privacy, increase noise and traffic, and disrupt residents' quiet enjoyment of their homes and land. Disturbing this area could disrupt the ecosystem established over time by adversely affecting the natural buffers for local wildlife. Removing or disturbing this area would not only disrupt the ecosystem, but also reduce the open space that provides a safe, accessible place for community members to walk, run, bike, snowshoe, and enjoy the outdoors, winter, spring, summer, and fall. A proposal with this level of impact should not move forward without full transparency, timely notice, and meaningful public participation. Residents deserve clear answers about costs, infrastructure needs, environmental effects, tax impacts, and the town's long-term obligations before any decision is made. The impact on existing neighborhoods. We recognize the importance of responsible housing development in Millinocket. However, this proposal places an unnecessary burden on an established neighborhood, threatens a valued natural and recreational area, and raises serious questions about infrastructure, tax impacts, and public processes. As currently proposed, the project is not in the best long-term interest of residents or the broader community. If additional housing is needed, the town should first evaluate locations better suited for growth, areas where development would have less direct impact on existing residents and community resources. Environmental and recreational concerns.
just you're already past your 2 minutes, if you wouldn't mind just wrapping it up.
Okay, well, the first three things that I pointed out were shortened versions of what the petition says. But the bottom line is, we would like to have all of that land. We'd like the zoning to be looked at because we're not comfortable with what the impacts are, and we don't feel like people have done enough to look at the long-term impact of moving trails or moving houses into where there's already trails. You know, are they gonna have to go all the way around that? Who's gonna build the infrastructure? Who's gonna pay to put in water and sewer and electricity? I already paid Versant quite a bit of money to do an extra pole. You know, so somehow I don't think people are gonna wanna pay for that. So our concern is how much of that has been looked at up until now. And I know it's just beginning, but I'm also was made aware last week at the meeting that they're looking at zoning right now, and that now would be the time to be looking at something like this, rather than waiting after you pass new zone, so code enforcement and zoning, and then say, oh, no, wait, no. So we are trying to bring it forward now so that the town council knows how we feel about it, those in the neighborhood. We were willing to go around with the petition, but Diana said, no, we can't do that anymore.
Absolutely did not say that.
To be clear, the reason, I get what you're saying, that not that you can't do a petition, but there's been no formal action taken. The council's not voted on anything, to my understanding, the planning board hasn't voted on anything. The only thing that's been done is Kitty Timber's been working on this for close to a year, if not more. And they've had 4 very public meetings where they've begged and pleaded for the public to go talk to them. We had one here that they presented to the council, and I think we had 4 people show up. They've been very vocal about what they want to do, but we as a council have not taken any action, and frankly, we're not going to until the planning board has made whatever decision that they decide to do. But they haven't even finished what they're doing with the planning board yet.
I understand that. We were given information that we should come and talk to you guys tonight. If that was incorrect, then I apologize for taking your time.
Oh, no.
That's what we were given, but we were told to come and read it tonight and bring it, present it. So.
We 100% want to hear this, don't get me wrong. We want to hear all of our citizens' concerns, but the point I'm making is when it comes to the petition, typically petitions are taken out when action has been taken, or if you're trying to remove a council, which is the most common one that's been done in the past. But no formal action has been taken from the council yet or the planning board. But you do have the right thought in mind. If there was action that was taken, then the petition would 100% make sense. But as of right now, like you said, everything's kind of in design phase right now for Arcadia. It's private property, so we have virtually no say other than the zoning on what's going on with it, which is why I think they're talking to the planning board. But my recommendation for you is go to the planning board meeting and read exactly what you just read to us when Acadia Timber does go to them. Because that's what that's there for. The planning board is there to hear not only your concerns, but to do the concerns that they have from a professional standpoint. So whether it be water runoff or how the roads are going to be built, who's paying for what, all those questions are better suited for the planning board. Our CEO is more than welcome to talk to you about these things. He is directly working with the planning board and probably knows way more in depth than what's going on with Kitty and Timber than we do. But no, by all means, we still want to hear your concerns. We have not taken any form.
Putting the proverbial horse before the cart.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, that's not a problem. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
Do you guys have anything?
I want to state for the record, as town clerk, I did not advise what they should or should not do. I could simply just tell them how to start the process, and that process was started, and they submitted it to me. I did receive it, and that's why I did tag you into the email, as well as our town attorney, manager, and code enforcement. So their petition was received at the clerk's office, and that is pending hearing back from our town attorney.
Perfect, thank you. Any other public comments?
Scott Bouchard, Tucker Pond Road again. I completely disagree with what was just stated. I mean, the reason that I have a tenured teacher as a wife who doesn't work here and a 5-year-old student who's gonna start school at another school is, number one, the consolidation issue. And number two, I'm sitting on looking at what I wanna do with my own property in planning and development. And I'm sitting back waiting to see if good things like what Acadian Timber wants to do are gonna happen. Like, everybody wants to talk about their tax bill and say they want their tax bill to go down. You need growth. You need growth to generate revenue. You need consolidated schools to have people who have families the age of mine who want to move into those new homes. So, not everyone feels that way, and I get it. I didn't want the wood cut in my backyard last fall, but I don't own the woods behind me. And you're not gonna tell people who own property what they're gonna do with it. So, not everyone feels that way. It takes growth. You have to have more taxpayers to lower your tax bill. And if you don't have new homes for young families to move into, you're not gonna add young children to your school system, and you're not gonna add more tax bills to your taxes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don Reagan, 183 Ohio Street, Plymouth. We've built trails back there, and we've maintained it for 30 years. And we're not asking that they don't do that, but we're asking that they look somewhere else. I mean, we have some rights, I believe, even if someone else's land, they've let us use it for 30 years. And the OSI, trail people, they came and redid those trails and spent over $100,000 on them, and they're still maintaining them. And we don't want to see that go away. We all use them, that they're named, they're on maps and everything. If they allowed all that, they should not be allowed to stop that or hinder that or do away with it. Thank you.
Any other public comments? I'll open it up to the council. Yes, Councilor. I was actually gonna ask, do you know anything about the trails that they're referring to?
What was that?
Do you know anything about the trails that they're referring to?
Well, there is a snowmobile trail there, no ATV trail because you can access on the road. But the snowmobile trail, and the meetings that I've been in with them, they said there'd be a snowmobile trail there, whether it's that trail or another one, so they're gonna have to address that. But what I just wanted to say is, they've been really upfront and pretty transparent, and they've had, like you said, 4 meetings, and I think they want to hear this from people. They haven't really yet heard that, and you know, we do. It is. I knew from years ago that land was always, you know, up to be, you know, built on, and you know, nobody wanted to do it, take the cost, and well, they're stepping up the plate to do it, then it's their land, and I understand, you know, some people that border that wooded area expected that to probably be ever free there, but, you know, when the landowner decides they want to do something, then that's up to them, but I would say, highly say, attend the meetings and talk to them, and explain what you're talking about, because that's all I can say, really. Thank you.
Any other councilors? To add, I was vocal when they came and met with us, and I asked them several questions that they could not answer. One was, you know, the runoff water. I was very concerned with the presentation they gave us, because there was runoff water that they had brought up. And they also brought up that there was quite a bit of wetlands in the area, and I had serious concerns with the wetlands. So there are still some questions that I have unanswered that I'm still very on the board about. I'm not for it, I'm not against it, to make that clear. I think there's some really cool ideas. Fin and Feather Club wants to build something at Jerry Pond. A former counselor told me a story about how at one point in time before they built the new pool, they wanted to develop all of Jerry Pond with the money that they were going to build the school with as a recreational area, and that never came to fruition. But it sounds like there has always been some kind of plan for Jerry Pond. It's just, in the area around it, it's just a matter of what was it ever going to be. So I'm curious to see what questions Acadian Timber gets. I'm curious to see what responses they get, including the questions that I've asked them and I've yet to get answers to. And then, of course, other counselors have asked questions of them that they have not received either. But all of these comments and concerns should be directed to the planning board and should 100% be directed to Acadian Timber where it is their property. They've asked for this several times that I know of, including, I think, online. So absolutely present these ideas to them and your concerns, and I'm sure they'll have answers, and if they don't, I'm hopeful that they will give you a response. With that, I will seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Councilman Wong, seconded by Councilman